You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old pal said. Boy, you've got a friend in me. Yeah, you've got a friend in me. Welcome to the Ukulele Video Play-Along Podcast. My name is Chris Russell. I am a teacher, a middle school teacher currently that teaches ukulele in my classes. And I have been hosting a video play-along podcast that's available on the Apple Podcasts and Google Play stores. But also, I thought I would make a video podcast here as well. So if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or on Google Play, it'll still be there. But I'm also going to drop this on YouTube as part of a video podcast. This is my newest instrument. It is an Ohana taropatch. It's a solid spruce top with mahogany solid back and sides, all solid ukulele. But if you can see, it has two courses of strings on each one. So, and they're all tuned in unison pitches, and that was pretty typical of taropatches, although Ohana does sell this with a low G and a high G, a low C and a higher C than ukulele players are used to. And I asked Mim, I bought this at Mim's Ukes, to make it into a pure taropatch. Taropatches apparently came from Martin. It was an early development in Martin, and what they did is they made a concert body a little larger and then ran the double courses of strings. I've only had it for about a week. I really like the sound of it. I do have an 8-string Baton Rouge tenor that I've played before on the podcast. The only negative for me is that its neck is really thick. I would have liked a little bit of a thinner neck, but otherwise it's a great little instrument, and I would definitely recommend it if you're looking at something a little different. The nice thing about this is that you've always got a ukulele group with you when you play because of that double string action. So I thought I would point that out, and I would talk a little bit about other things that have been going on. If you've been watching the YouTube channel, the Ukulele Tenor YouTube channel, which is connected with ukestuff.info, which is my blog where I blog things, I had kind of an interesting experience with the baritone. Now again, I only own one baritone ukulele, and it was a bargain on eBay at the time. Lanakai had received a whole shipment of these. I think the letters are LU21Bs that they had rejected, and another dealer bought them up and just sold them as is. So I think this entire ukulele shipped was less than $40, which is a fantastic deal, but it had some issues, including some rusty strings and some buzzing that I think I've managed to address in the time that I've owned it. But I didn't play a lot of baritone ukulele, even though I know that it's growing in popularity. In fact, KoAlaha has a brand in the Ukulele magazine. If you ever see the Ukulele magazine, if you don't know it, if you like ukulele, get the magazine, support it. It's very affordable. At times of the year, you can get it for like $15 for a year. Generally, it's like $25 for a year, and you get 4 magazines a year. You also get a PDF copy that you can hold on to, which I really like. But with the baritone, and what I was getting to is Petey Mac. If you don't know Petey Mac, he is in Memphis, Tennessee, and he's traveling quite a bit. He comes up to the Minnesota Two Harbors Ukulele Festival, which is called the Silver Creek Ukulele Carnival, which is held in August here. So if you're within driving distance of Duluth, Minnesota, think about coming. It's a free festival. But anyway, Petey comes up to that. But Petey also hosts and has started a ukulele group in Memphis. Last week, this is the last week of July. Last week, my wife and I had an opportunity to take a little vacation, and we stopped in there, and it was a fun time. They meet at Central Barbecue, and they play music that Pete has made charts for. Anyway, Pete also does Facebook strum-alongs. The wife of the maker of Bonanza Ukulele, Shelly Mai, lives up in northern Minnesota, and there were no ukulele groups up there, and Shelly wanted to play in a ukulele group. So Pete suggested that he could actually lead one. People would play ukulele while he was leading, and you would just open up his chart. It's pdmac.weebly.com if I remember right. And you just download his songs and you play along while he's playing. And this is really kind of ingenious. If you're all by yourself, that's what the video play-alongs are all about too. Not only are they for education, not only are they for some adult groups that actually like playing along with the videos and don't like singer and people don't like necessarily singing along or being the source of the music, but it's also great for people that are isolated. And if you want to play other music, that's part of the reason why I'm doing the 365 project very slowly. But this is a great thing that Pete's doing. So anyway, he was doing one of those Facebook play-alongs, and I decided to pull out the baritone ukulele, which I don't play a lot. Now again, I play basic guitar, not really advanced, but enough to teach through Guitar 3 in terms of method books. I can keep up with students and do that, but I'm not a great guitar player. And again, the baritone's four strings are the same pitches as a guitar's top four strings. You still have two lower strings. And incidentally, I bought living water strings, and again, if you're listening to this, you won't be able to see it, but they're all fluorocarbon strings because I don't like the squeak of a metal string. So anyway, I pulled out the baritone ukulele and I played along with Petey, and I was fine. Basically, the hardest chord to remember on baritone ukulele is F, which is like the B flat on a standard tuned or GCEA tuned ukulele. So the hardest chord to remember was to play the F instead of the F that actually becomes C on the baritone ukulele. After that, I started thinking about it, and I thought about the popularity of KoAlaha, and this is where I was getting to with the magazine. I kind of got distracted there, sorry. But with KoAlaha, they have an ad in the latest ukulele magazine saying, look at all the baritones we have, because they're growing in popularity, and they really are. A lot of people like the deeper sound, they like the linear tuning, although you can do that on a standard ukulele as well. And people are buying baritones, they're coming to ukulele festivals, and ukulele festivals have to be aware of that. Petey, all of his stuff shows chords for standard and baritone tuning. Again, standard is a dangerous word because there are places like Canada and some places in the UK where people prefer a tuning even higher than GCA tuning. They tune it into D6 tuning, but we'll just call that standard tuning for now, the GCEA. But Pete chose those, and you have to be careful about baritone ukuleles and making sure that you are providing for their interests too, if we're all ukulele players. It's kind of like being a motorcyclist, which I am, even though I don't get many chances to ride. And there are some Harley owners, and no offense if you're a Harley owner, but there are some Harley owners that believe that the only motorcycle is a Harley motorcycle. That's not right, because a Honda motorcycle is a motorcycle. A Victory, like I own, which is no longer made, is a motorcycle. An Indian is a motorcycle. They're all motorcycles. So you can either celebrate with everyone or you can be elitist. Well, I would suggest in the ukulele world we want to be elitist. So that made me think about it. And now for the last few videos, I'm going to actually pull up my YouTube channel here. For the last channels, I have been making play-alongs that feature chords for both standard tuning and for baritone ukulele. Just tonight I published Oh Dear, What Can the Matter Be? This is July 23rd. I did I'm Yours. That's a longer story. I found a version of I'm Yours which is actually fully clean. Jason Mraz actually doesn't even drop the four-letter D-A-M-N word in there, and in fact even fixes a God-intended right versus a God-forsaken right. Kind of cool. For my live performance with Good Morning America, I had Yellow Submarine blocked, but that would have been a play-along. New Soul, which was suggested by a local ukulele group of beginners. I made that one for baritone. A song that I picked up in Memphis. One of the cool things at Memphis was that Pete had chosen, knowing that we were going to be there, my wife and I, Pete chose a bunch of music that was Memphis-based. And some of those songs I knew and some of them I didn't. And one was a song, is Jug Band Music Is So Sweet to Me, and I made a play along of that. Apples and Bananas, I Like to Eat, Eat, Eat. Again, thinking not all these songs are for adults. A lot of them are for schools and introducing, but there's that one's for two instruments. La Cucaracha was for two instruments. On the Beach at Waikiki was for 2 instruments. Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride from Lilo and Stitch for baritone instruments. So that kind of goes. So far, let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 songs now for baritone ukulele, a 9th that you can't see with Yellow Submarine. But that's kind of a neat thing to do. So if you are a baritone ukulele player, there are now some play-alongs for you. I don't know of anybody else that's doing that yet. Maybe some other people will change their minds. So that's some big news in my ukulele playing world. Also, I bought another ukulele, and I didn't necessarily mean to do it, but my favorite ukulele brand, what in terms of sound and mission of the company and philosophy of the owners, although I love a lot of ukuleles and a lot of ukulele companies, is KoAlaha. Now, what's really funny is I probably wouldn't go to Hawaii and buy a KoAlaha because I already own some and might even acquire a few more in the years to come. I'd probably buy something like Kamaka, the original Hawaiian long-term ukulele company. I'd probably go and buy a Kamaka in Hawaii. But KoAlaha has had kind of an interesting journey. They started off with Alvin, who's the creator of the whole brand now. His sons are involved, and it's a family affair. They have a company in Indonesia that makes their sort of KoAlaha replicas called opios, which I have a couple of. And actually, my full-blooded KoAlaha is back at the shop in Hawaii right now, being refit with a new bridge. Well, a guy on Ukulele Underground listed this ukulele and offered it. It's a soprano. I don't have a soprano KoAlaha model, but it's a KoAlaha. And take a look. It has a little bit of a different headstock, and the label inside is it's not a 1980s, but I don't know if you can actually see it with the shadows, but it's kind of a funky sticker on the inside. And KoAlaha has had 3 different versions of the KoAlaha so far. They had this one. This was the first, and they were made out of mahogany. Apparently some were made out of koa, but this one's made out of mahogany. And these were made in China, and they had some issues. They had a finish that whited out, and it's all gloss. Even the fretboard, I don't know if you can see that, but even the fretboard is gloss. And it's not a bad ukulele. It's set up well, but some people return them, and with all the finish issues and a couple other issues, KoAlaha stopped with that idea and brought a plant to Indonesia and basically set up the entire KoAlaha factory in Indonesia, including Pops's own fret making tool that actually drills the frets in the right spot. There's only 2 of those machines in the world, and there's one in Hawaii and one in Indonesia. So now when you buy a KoAlaha opio, it's made there. Anyway, they've also had a version of the KoAlaha that became the opio. Then they had a version of the KoAlaha which was a laminate, which this is not. They're coming out with a 4th in the near future. I keep watching for it. Another laminate, but kind of a different finish, and it looks really nice. So I'm interested in that. But when this one came across, it came out, and the person wanted a certain amount of money for it, and I really wasn't willing to spend it. And I just kind of watched the ads, and a lot of these people were afraid to buy these because they cracked. They would crack too. But this one probably was a 2008 model. It's 2018. It hasn't cracked. It does have the finish, kind of cloudy finish at places. But I just, knowing how much I like KoAlaha, I just figured it was worth buying and having, even as a memento, and at the price, it was impossible to pass up. I might change the tuners to Goto tuners. They're just kind of standard white friction tuners. They work, but I might like it with the Goto tuners, and it's kind of fun. I was comparing it to my Martin S1 Soprano, and the Martin S1 has kind of a more punch and bite to it, but this one also has kind of a more rounded, mellow sound. It came to me with Kamaka strings on it too, and I swapped those out for my traditional Martin fluorocarbon. M600s that you can buy. Be careful, by the way. If you buy Martin strings right now, they have mislabeled the strings that are in the packages. So you need to make sure that when you put them on your ukulele, that the thinnest string goes on the first string spot, the thickest goes in the third, and then work out the other two. It should be pretty easy to put them in the right order. So if you look at string thickness going from the floor up, the first one should be the thinnest, the second one should be the second thickest, the third one should be the thickest, and the fourth one should be the second thickest. And if you write that all down, you'll figure it out. And you can spot it. If you need to, you should maybe buy a caliper. I bought a digital caliper. They're not very expensive. Harbor Freight, if you have one of those near you, I bought one for $10. That's also a good way to check the gauges of strings just in case you mess something up or drop them or whatever. So anyway, kind of a nice little find for me, a KoAlaha. And there are a couple other announcements coming up really shortly. One involves this. It's not a shaker, it's a humidifier, and I think I'm going to go into the process of selling these to people that are interested, that don't want to make their own, and I've come up with a plan for that, so I'm going to make an announcement about that shortly. And also, what I'm calling the ukulele video method is going to be available pretty soon to people who subscribe to my Patreon. Now, just a word about Patreon. There are a bunch of people out there that are looking to be supported through funding by people that say, I love what you're doing, here's $1 a month, here's $2 per month. What I'm looking at for my Patreon is to grow it, is I would love to do giveaways. Like the ukulele teacher is a KoAlaha featured artist, and they give him ukuleles to give away. I'd love to have enough patrons that I could buy a ukulele a month from a good dealer like MIM or the Uke Republic and give it away to anybody that's sponsoring my work, either on ukestuff.info or my Tech and Music Ed website. And I'd love to be able to give away a ukulele or other things, accessories and other things in the future. I've written a couple of letters to a couple of dealers and vendors and manufacturers to see if they'd be interested in partnering with me, but unfortunately I haven't received any word back from anybody yet. But that would be kind of a goal, and I'm not looking, like with the ukulele teacher, if you subscribe for $10 per month to Patreon, you're getting a list for a drawing for ukulele. I don't want to deal with that. I would love it just be, if you're supporting me for at least $1 a month, you're in the drawing. And that'd be kind of nice. Maybe if you have people that do $2, I don't know. I have to think through with that, all that, but I'm working through the details. But another, that is going to be available. The ukulele video method for the first 5 chords is working through it. It involves 91 songs in it right now with those 5 chords, first 5 chords that I teach in order. And with those, there are at least 75 individual songs, if not more. Some are repeated. I'll give you a couple different creators' choices. And the cool part is, because it's YouTube, all the watching revenue goes back to the actual copyright holder. Another little notice, if I haven't mentioned this before, is YouTube recently reviewed my channel and said that I was offering duplicate content, which means that I cannot monetize my channel because of running like video play-alongs. Now again, all those video play-alongs, when they are copyright connected, any ad revenue goes directly back to the copyright holder. Or if you see ads on my channel that aren't connected with a copyright, those are going directly into YouTube's pocket. There's no financial benefit for the YouTube channel at the moment. Maybe that will change in the future, but it's worth mentioning. I am allowed to reapply in 30 days, but nothing's going to change my channel. I'm going to be having additional content like this, but at the same time, I don't want to stop doing video play-alongs just to try to make revenue on the channel, because again, the main point here right now is the video play-alongs. So I think that covers us pretty well in terms of what's been going on with my change to accept or to make resources for baritone ukulele, trying a live recording, seeing how that works. and I'm not editing anything. So we'll see, you know, just drop that online and see how that all goes. And keep your eyes out for the humidifiers if that interests you. So let's just end here with a little bit more of this Ohana. Again, it's a CK-70-8 solid spruce top, mahogany sides and back. So let's do this. And as the years go by, our friendship will never die. You're gonna see it's our destiny. You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me.